Sorry, I'm new at this, so not very smooth. Okay, let me do this. Okay, let us start. A warm welcome to our board masters, Brother Joe Huang, Hualien Dharma team, and brothers and sisters around the globe to Saturday Hualien Dharma Talk. A very good morning. Let us start the session today. Recently, disasters have happened so rampantly, one after another, due to the great imbalance of four elements. Now with COVID-19 pandemic around the world, Master has great concern and earnestly urged everyone to repent and adopt a vegetarian meal to protect life and cultivate our great love to living beings and for the goodness of society and the world. Let us send our sincere prayers into 10 directions. May the Sahel land be free from disaster and peace prevail in the world. Let us listen to. Now let us send our sincere prayers into 10 directions. May the Sahel land be free from disasters and peace prevail in the world. Let us sing the prayer song with sincere piousness.
In my heart, I feel deep gratefulness. All my heart is filled with sincere prayer. From all corners of the world, let us join our hearts and pray for a world of harmony and peace. From my heart, I pray. May we join our hands, our hearts as one. Spread the seeds of great love, nurture wisdom evermore. Let us fill the world with hope. In my heart, I feel deep gratefulness. May all the Buddhas know my prayer. All united with one heart, let us end our hate with love. May there be no suffering hereafter. In my heart,
May all minds be purified. May there be peace in the community. May there be no disasters in the world. Together we pray for universal love and blessing. With loving respect, gratitude, and confidence, Let us wish every person in our lives a healthy body, an enlightened mind, and a total fulfillment in universal love. Now let us expand this consciousness to include every person in the world, every being in the universe. Let our unified love make this wonderful world even better. Let us all immerse ourselves in the joyful embrace of universal love. Before we hear the wonderful sharing review, let us invite abode masters to lead us in paying homage to the Triple Gem. Let us pay our respect for these teachings and explanations to the Buddha and Master Cheng Yen by making 3 sincere bows. Please rise. Palms together. First bow, second bow, and third bow. And a bow to our beloved abode masters who could join us today. Okay. This morning we will have a Q&A with Brother Joe Huang, followed by Master Te Huang. But before that, I will give a short summary of last week's sharing. Okay. Last week there was me, and I shared about donating a part of me. The first was my blood donation, which was since 1993. It started in TAUC, and it was such a good cause I continued religiously. A bag of blood saves 3 lives, so why wouldn't you donate? Our body will always ensure that our blood supply is adequate. The second donation is that of my hair. To grow it, I grow it for 2 to 3 years as I carefully prepare. My locks to be given, and together with many ponytails to be made a wig. For a child who has lost hers to illnesses too devastating to speak. The third and final one is that of my body. Before I leave this earth, it is my wish that I hold dearly. My body parts shall continue to live in others who need them more. As my soul would have departed, there is not much that I can ask for. Donations such as these are very special indeed. You don't get to choose the recipient of your gifts as you answer to a plea. Just a moment of your time to drop this gift of you. The purpose of sharing is, I believe, more will come forth to donate now that they know how and what to do. And then we had English Pure Heart tells a story by Sister Su Ching and Sister Moon. Nature connects us to every living thing on earth. Every living thing feeds off the earth ever since birth. Even the trees in the forest breathe and communicate. There will be no more nature left soon if we embark on human beings' destruction rate. To connect, there are a few simple steps to take. Take a forest bathing journey, a simple yet most effective spiritual connection break. We calm our minds when we are more grounded too. Just take off your shoes and walk on the grass, such a simple thing to do. Nature doesn't need us to survive, we need nature. Nature provides a home, shelter, food, and clothing for all living creatures. So remember to whom we need to direct our respect. Whenever our feelings are a mess, we always have nature to help us back to connect. Okay, that is the sharing this morning from me. Is Brother Joe Huang on yet? Brother Joe Huang, can you? Hello, good morning.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Sister Su Ching. Thank you for your the review from last week. Okay, so I can just go ahead and begin.
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you, everybody, and good morning, everyone. I think it's once again my pleasure and my honor to be able to share my thoughts with you. And today, today I meet you all a little bit earlier than usual. Usually it's 7:30, and the content is a little bit different. This time I have the honor to do the QA. In the past, I see Brother David working with all of you, and that's wonderful. I learned a lot when Brother David shared with all of us, and so today let me try to do what I can also, and hoping to provide some of the insights for these questions. Now you should be able to see on the screen the questions that were asked. I had the opportunity to take a look at it first and thought about what I could say. However, I'm sure what I say is just from my own observation and my own perspective. I hope that we could each come to see the differences and also agree and grasp the differences, and then be able to work out something so that we can work toward the common objective. So the first question is from, I don't know who, but from someone who is actively, I don't want to say confused, but who is seeking answer. The person said, I enjoy Tzu Chi activities, but at the same time, I also enjoy joining other sects, especially on meditation and chanting, which is not so focused here. In fact, I came from other sects and encouraged to join Tzu Chi due to the missions to benefit others. Yet some people commented that I have to focus in Tzu Chi to be a commissioner. If this is true, does it mean I cannot continue my past activities in the other sect? Okay, the person, thank you for your question. And I think we can divide this question into several different parts. Now, the very first part, let me just break it down into four parts. First of all, I enjoy Tzu Chi activities, but at the same time, I also enjoy joining other sects, especially on meditation and chanting, which is not the focus here. I think this is true for many people. This is true for probably the majority of us, that we do Tzu Chi and we also do other things. I am not talking about other ways of practice. I'm talking about we always divide our lives and divide our time and divide our attention into several different parts, whether it's how you practice or whether it's how you focus. Our time is limited. It doesn't matter whether you are in the practice of meditation and chanting, or whether you are in the practice of like Tzu Chi in the practice, or you're doing your school studies or academia studies. It doesn't really matter what you do, but the time is very limited. And we all seek out the things that will help us, or they will guide us, or they will allow us to find the inner peace. Now, whether that is through quiet sitting or meditation or chanting, or through engaging in humanity, engaging in what's needed in this world, or that's engaged in, school and book reading or others. That is totally up to the different people and different persona, right? So in the very first part, I think most of us enjoy Tzu Chi, and many of us not just enjoy, but also treat it as our mission. But I'm sure even for those of us who treat Tzu Chi as our life or the very main part of our lives, we still enjoy doing other things. For example, I enjoy not just doing, Tzu Chi to help others, but I also enjoy reading. I enjoy reading Tzu Chi books. I don't see that as a Tzu Chi activity, but I enjoy reading master's teachings. I enjoy contemplating. I enjoy talking with others, discussing with others. I don't see that as Tzu Chi activity. However, I do have other enjoyments, and I do enjoy playing sports. I do enjoy all these other things. Now, for this person, you also enjoy other ways of calming ourselves down, finding that inner peace, and that is okay. In Tzu Chi, we focus on the Bodhisattva path, which is helping our others, and at the same time helping us and guiding us to self-realization. So this is also true that in doing other activities, that is not the focus here. So there are some practices that is not in line with what we do here, but everybody has their taste, and everybody has their particular goals and direction. Okay, so that's the first part. I think it's definitely very open. It's definitely very free. When you mention that it's not the focus, I'm going to get engaged here next. So the next part is, in fact, I came from other sect and encouraged to join Tzu Chi due to the missions to benefit others. So this is important. For this person asking the question, you do realize the differences between what we do here in Tzu Chi and what you do previously. And you make a choice. You make a choice to put the two together, right? You do Tzu Chi while at the same time meditating and chanting. And I think for the most part, this is okay. For the most part, this is okay. And the reason why I say this is because when we do Tzu Chi, and sometimes you find that your heart or your mind is wandering around and you don't know what to do, or you are a little bit lost. People will now find their own ways to try to find that inner peace again. We're going to come later to other questions about people and engaging in humanity, with other, going into the people and masses. We're bound to hit some problems, and we're bound to hit some confusion, and we're bound to be affected and influenced by people around us. And that is going to happen regardless. However, I think the more important thing is we all find some way to help us deal with the difficulties that we're going to see. Now, that is the top part. The top part talks about what you like, what you want to do, right? With your limited time. You're talking about doing Tzu Chi as well as doing something that you think that will help you. And then the second part talks about you understand the differences. You understand the differences between meditation, chanting, and Tzu Chi. Okay, so the first two parts are very clear. So thank you for writing this very, very informative question so that we can understand each part, and then we can self-inspect if we have the same path of thinking as well. So most of us, for the first two parts, we should be very clear. Okay, I do Tzu Chi. I also do something else that's not Tzu Chi. I know coming here, it's a mission to benefit others. Therefore, I also know that other things that I do, the focus isn't so much to benefit others, but the focus that they have their own other focuses. Okay, they have their other focus. So that's the first two parts. The next two parts are now going to be a little bit deeper. The next part says, yet some people commented that I have to focus in Tzu Chi to be a commissioner. Okay, so let's stop right here. What does that mean to be a commissioner? What does that mean? Or what is our task, or what is our responsibility, or what is the mission to be a Tzu Chi commissioner? I think it's very important to know and to also think that to be a commissioner, We are now setting an example, and we're now walking a path where we are very certain. Now, does that mean the first two things that we talked about are no longer true? It doesn't mean that. What being a commissioner means is that we are sharing. We tell ourselves that we're going to walk this path, and then we're going to walk this path and share what we found with other people. And not only that, we're going to try to learn on this path to change ourselves, and not only to benefit others, but also changing ourselves so that we can grow on this path. This is like reading a book, or reading many books, or finding your major in college. At first, we come in, we are exposed to many different studies, right? In the first year in college, we're taking all these classes, we're listening to friends, our roommates, we're in different schools, we're in different colleges, we're in different learning and specialties and different subjects. And that's where we develop our interest and develop our objective, our goals. We begin to realize that there are many different things out there, right? There are many different disciplines. There's a part that talks about more dealing with numbers, logic, and science. Then there will be others that deals more with arts and languages and history. They are very different. They are of different paths. So in order for you to take up one specialty where you are now able to share with other people what you know, and share with other people how you have grown, you need to walk a little bit further down. To be a commissioner, not only are we doing Tzu Chi, but we're now able, and it is our mission, to be able to share with others, to be able to lead others and guide others through our own experiences. However, if our experiences isn't deep enough, if our experiences are spread out, then it will be very difficult to be able to share with others. In fact, it will be very difficult to guide other people. For example, if we're reading a book and we read 30 pages in, and then we pick up another book and we read another 30 pages in. Yes, I do like the 2 or 3 or 4 different books that I'm reading, but for each book that I'm reading 30 pages in, and even though every book is different, right? I'm reading this book that is very deep, that is very heavy. So reading 30 pages here just dries me out, right? It sucks me out and sucks me dry. I'm just dry. And then you're reading the next 30 pages of a different book, you realize that you are relaxed, and this is very helpful, right? So you're reading all these different books, and they're all very different, and they're all very much in very different discipline. And other people come and ask you, so how do you feel about reading this particular book that is very hard and dry? How, what can you teach us about this? And you'll be like, well, it's very difficult. And that's why I've been only into this for 30 pages. But I was able to get into other books, 7 other books, 8 other books. And I was able to find out there are so many different practices and different and disciplines out there. We would not be able to share, and we would not be able to lead or guide. In fact, we will be just using what we know through other practices to help with this. And that is difficult. Why is that difficult? Because while we're spending time reading other books, in fact, the dry books at first might be dry, but it's teaching you how do you find the answer within this book to make it not so hard and make it not so dry. The answer isn't from outside. The answer is actually inside. For example, doing the missions to benefit others. It might be wonderful and it might be very joyous. And a lot of times does not allow you to sit down quietly. It does not allow you to have a time to contemplate and reaching the same place that you would if you were to do meditation or chanting. However, following this path alone, you are going to learn how you can get there without the other path, but rather following the same one path. But because you haven't gotten there and we're able to just say, oh, it's so deep and hard, let me switch to the easier, lighter books so that I could actually help me to balance the difficulties and the easiness. While at the same time, then letting go. Actually, if you stay a little bit deeper, stay a little bit longer, go a little bit deeper, you would be able to find the answers actually are also within this path. You don't have to go out of the different path to find the answers. It's actually all right here. And then you will also find that in this book, there are also light and not so difficult parts, but you haven't gotten there. Therefore, you think that you need to find it from other places that will give you that relaxation, that balancing of difficulty and easiness in your life so that you don't get sucked into the one book and be so dense and get hindered. Okay, so that's how I feel that going deeper on this one path actually will lead you onto what you are actually now finding here in meditation and chanting. Going down this path, you would actually find very similar practices, very similar trainings on this same path in Tzu Chi that allows you to do what you would get if you were to do meditation and chanting. For example, in our morning practices every day here, we have meditation and we have chanting, but it's not the focus because it's helping you in line so that you have what you learn in your main course, in your main syllable, in your main syllabus. And at the same time, these are the things that comes along the side to help you. Okay, so this is what we do. This is what the path is. This is what this book and this is what this major is teaching us. Okay, so let's go into the fourth part. If this is true, does that mean I cannot continue my past activities in the other sect? And now, this is following the very first part that talks about that we have to be focused. Focusing, as I mentioned, allows you to be able to go deeper and stay a little bit longer, and then finding what you are actually finding in other sects. You're finding ways to help you finding the inner peace. You're now learning the different ways that you would otherwise get from meditation and chanting. If you are able to focus in this path, these are the things that you would also learn. For example, if you're I'm always using the engineering side. If you are an engineer, if you're an engineer background, you are going to have to take mathematics and you are going to have to take physics. However, the physics that you take isn't going to be as deep as if you were majored in physics or mathematics. So there are common areas where both paths follow, just as I mentioned, even in this Tzu Chi path, in the Tzu Chi school of Buddhism, there are meditation and there are chanting. However, these are not so deep as the others if you go with a different sect or different schools. And in order for us to see and go deeper and understand more about other sects, more about the Tzu Chi school of Buddhism, eventually we'll get to learn and we will be using the tools. We'll be using these to help us further. So that's what the focus needs to be. We're focusing on this part, not just benefiting others. As we go in a little bit deeper, we're learning to benefit others and also helping us overcome ourselves and helping us become a better self, and then helping other becoming better selves as well. So does that mean that you cannot continue your past activities? As I mentioned, that there are paths where these different sects will cross. There are paths where these different sects will cross. In Tzu Chi, there are still meditation and chanting. So even if you're a commissioner, there will still be opportunities and there will still be chances where what we do, actually, there is still ways that we can use to help us settle our mind, right? For example, in the very recent earthquake, our Dharma masters from the abode and our volunteers, when we reach the disaster site, and I'm sure for all of you as well, when we reach there, we also use very simple and light meditation and chanting techniques to help the disaster site, or to help the victims or the survivors how to cope with their anxiety problems. Yet that's not only thing we focus, right? We try to lift their spirit. We try to get them to know that now that we are settled, let's try to figure out how we can stand up, and let's try to figure out what we can do. Now that's what we do. So it's not to say that you cannot do all these things from previous. However, the focus will be different. Okay. Now, when you say cannot continue the past activities, as I mentioned, the path will cross. However, what you do in the past isn't going to be, you're going probably deeper into meditation and chanting. Here in Tzu Chi, you're still going to do that, but we're not going to be able to do that much deeper. We're going to focus on our path so that we can share with others what we have learned, so that we can guide and lead others into this path as well. Okay, so once again, the answer isn't so set in stone. It's not a very hard yes or no. In fact, there's a lot of adjusting. There's a lot of switching perspective. There's a lot of contemplating, and that's always the case. Am I doing too much of this, or am I doing too much of this? Should I go a little bit deeper here, or should I now spread a little bit thin and come here? We are constantly adjusting, but the most important thing is, and I think this is very important, always remember to contemplate. Are we doing too much of this or too much of this? Asking yourself this question, you know the answer. Sometimes we ourselves are the first that we fool. We are the first person that we lie to. We tell ourselves it's okay when we already know that it's not okay, but we allow us to do that. So asking yourself, always contemplate. That's why in Buddhism, it's very important to contemplate. Therefore, we can change and adjust our course. But it's very important to always look and self-respect, in retrospect, and to be able to think, now I need this, but am I following this path? I just need to follow this path a little bit longer, and I will be able to find the teachings that I need to help me get to where I got on meditation and chanting. Okay, so that's what I would say, and it requires a lot. Okay, okay. So thank you, Su Ching. Absolutely right. In accounting, we learn the law, but we learn what we needed, and then we move on. So once again, what I wanted to mention was that we do meditation and we do chanting, and I'm sure that in that sect or in that school, you're getting to somewhere, or you're getting some return from it. Let's assume what you get from meditation and chanting, we call that M and C, right? You do meditation and you get some level of M, and you do chanting and you get some level of C. So maybe from M and C, you're getting something more, right? You go into this state where you're not only peaceful, but you're able to think things clearly. You're not only thinking things clearly, but you're able to, I'm just stretching here, but you're able to see further into the future, right? So let's suppose that's what you get on doing meditation and chanting. Let's call it M and C, right? Now, when you do Tzu Chi, you're getting what we're doing, which is to benefit others. We do a lot of charity. That's what we do. Let's call that T. You're doing that to get to T. But while you're getting to T, as more T's you're getting, as more Tzu Chi you're doing, you're beginning to realize your heart is unsettled. Therefore, we do a little M and we do a little C as well to help us focus our mind while we're continuing on reaching T. And so these are the things that we're still going to get to. The path will cross. The path will cross. However, the focus will be different because we're not going to be so fixed on M and C. We're going to use M and C and we're going to continue on and we'll find a way eventually. Walking on the path of T, not only are we going to use M and C, but we're eventually going to take us to be able to envision this future as well. We're able to find a particular place where now we're settled and we're going to be able to see further into the future or maybe see further into the past. And that's what you're thinking you're getting on meditation and chanting or reaching a particular state. I'm telling you, we do that. We can get there too with Tzu Chi, with Tzu Chi school of Buddhism. Maybe we don't so focus it, but the more you do, the more people that you get engaged to, you're going to see that these people are representations of the forms of our past, our present, and our future. You see through not the manifestation in your mind, but you see through other people. You see other people that are not doing so well. You see people that are doing well and working hard. And you see people that are doing very well. And these are the forms of who you were and who you are and who you will be. That is how we see into the future and see into the past. We can do all of that too. It doesn't have to only get there through meditation and chanting, but you need to stay with Tzu Chi long enough to go deeper. If you don't, then you're only getting through meditation and chanting, and you go like, whoa, I'm getting here what you cannot get there. Well, that's not true. It's just people focus on different things, right? In accounting, you focus not only on the law, but you also focus on the numbers. So when you go into accounting, you don't go into law first. You go probably with the accounting practices and different ways to calculate, to different categories and categorization, etc. But if you go into law, these are the very basic fundamentals, right? The way to present an argument, the way to read all the precedents and also all the laws, etc. Right? So when you start off at different places, but what I'm saying is, if you continue on one path, you're eventually going to get here. That's going to be part of it. So, but if you don't go deep enough, you're not going to get there. And you're going to be thinking, no, on this path, I'll never get there. I'll never get that. So I'm going to go there. I'm going to get there from there. Well, you're going to get there eventually, but you can get it here, not through the same ways. So as I mentioned, if you think that you can get to some state of mind through meditation and chanting, we're able to get there through doing Tzu Chi as well. There's also meditation and chanting, even though it's not the focus here, but it's also part of what we do. And we're able to get there in a different way. So you just have to stay there long enough. You just have to read the books. Maybe the first 30 pages are hard and difficult, but if you stay long enough, if you brave through it, you're going to get there, and you're going to get what the other books was able to teach you, and also the other books was able to bring for you the same thing here in this book as well. You just need to get through there. Okay, so that's the first question. Okay, I hope that will clear things up. At least it did help me clear my own question. Okay, second question: how come others who make mistakes do not have to reform, but I always have no reform? Okay, so I think it's I always have to reform. Others who make mistakes do not have to reform. Now, this is what I really believe. A lot of times we do things according to what other people do things. And that is why Master always says, right? If it's right, just do it, right? 对的事做就对了. Master didn't tell us, if he did it, just do it. If he didn't do it, don't do it. That's not what Master says. Master at first says, just do it, because we're sort of holding back. We're not certain what we should do. Master eventually told us, if it's right, just do it. Yet it's so simple and easy for us to be trapped, to limit ourselves into what he or she, what others is and isn't doing, to judge what we should or should not do. And that is something that I wanted to focus. I do the same too. You know, oh, he's able to do this, so I should be able to do it too. He's doing it, so I should be able to, I can do it. There's a lot of these going on, because when you are going into the masses, this is what you're going to see. Rather, if you are staying meditation, or if you're going chanting, or if you're just doing self-contemplation, soul searching on your own into the mountains, you're not going to so much ask this question, right? How come others who do this and I don't? Because you're by yourself. But then you can think about what you want to do, what you want to reach, what the objective, and you can do it very clearly. However, when you're among a group of people, and you'll be very confused, because you think about, you have a goal, you know you have a goal, you know you have a path to follow, and then other people don't do the same, and then your heart gets affected, your mind thinking that, why is it that I work so hard to do this and they don't have to? Well, because they're on a different path, because they have a different background, because they have their own difficulties and challenges that is very, very, very different from yours. So while they do that, you still have to ask yourself, is it right? Is this the right thing? And if it's the right thing, then just do it. Once again, I go back to what I said previously. We are the first person we lie to. We lie to ourselves to allow us to believe, to faking us into believing what we think is right. So then we say, I am right. And we even get into arguments. Sometimes we just can't let go of the face, so that we stick to this point. We stick to something that we know isn't right. And just to be argued, just to argue. I do that. I think most of us do that. And we know it's wrong. So it's not so much to finding an excuse to do what we know isn't right, but rather ask ourselves, contemplate, is it the right thing? If you know that you made a mistake, does it really matter what other people reform or not? You know you made a mistake. So what do? We repent, we apologize, and we try to change ourselves. That's what we do. And when we're able to do that, let's try to bring this to other people. Let's try to help them so that they could also realize that they have done something wrong, and then they are willing to repent, and then they're willing to change themselves for the better. Isn't that what Bodhisattva path is? 自觉觉他, self-realization, and then helping to bring others to realizations themselves as well, to awakening as well. And that is why it's so much important that we focus on this path, so that we go further along. Now that we're a commissioner, we're able to bring others who aren't as far along on this path and share with them that this is what you can do. Trust in this path, have faith in this path. You're able to get there, but you need to hold on. You need to stick it out. Otherwise, it will be very, very difficult. Okay, so that's this part. How come others who made mistakes do not have to reform? How do you know? How do you know that they're not reforming? Maybe they're trying very, very, very hard. They're trying to kick the habit, but they're trying very hard, and maybe they tried 10 times already, all fail. So it's not that they are not reforming, it's that they are finding the difficulties. And so what you see in others isn't that they are not doing it, but rather you see in others our responsibilities. I do it, and I see that you're in trouble. So what can I do to help you? That will be a totally different way to look at this, right? So once again, it goes into practice. It goes into what you think is very important. And I think in Tzu Chi, in our Tzu Chi school of Buddhism, it talks about perspective. It talks about it talks about perspective, and it talks about how we can view this in the greater good. So rather than thinking about others who do not reform, in the greater good would be, how can I share my experiences so that I could help you reform? How could I lead you and guide you by doing what I can so that you are also seeing that this is the mistake, right? So that will be hard because, like I said, we lie to ourselves easily so that we know the true answer deep down. We just don't want to see it. So self-contemplating allow us to sort of trying to reach an internal peace and consensus so that we are not like two sides or three sides battling out in our minds. But with other people, it gets a lot harder because you have dignity, you have this pride, you have this frontal facade that it's so hard to break through, right? Do I trust you enough? Do I want to hear you talk about the deepest part where I'm vulnerable? That's hard, right? That's hard. That's why Tzu Chi's School of Buddhism, the first 30 pages or the first 10 pages are simple, that you just help others. And then the next 20 pages are going to be very difficult because you're going to find people that you don't like. You're going to find people that don't do what they say. And then the next 10 pages are even more difficult because you're going to try to change them. And then you're going to hit a wall because they don't want you to change them. They don't trust you enough, or they think they're better than you. So you can't change them. So how do you break through that? So most of the people in this school, you get stuck. You get stuck in doing the things you like, which is the first 10 pages. You're going back there to read all the very good parts. But the next 20 to 30 pages are hard. Hard at first because it's hard to get yourself to say, well, not only am I happy, I want to bring everybody this joy. This is not so bad. I'm vegetarian. I want everybody to be vegetarian. That's sort of easier. But then you begin to hit a wall because people have all sorts of reasons and excuses and not wanting to do what you want them to do. And then you get into this cycle of, well, that's wrong, and what can I do to help them? And then there will be other people like you, and they are not doing things like you. And then you begin to shake the very fundamentals, and you begin to question the very first 10 pages that you read. That's who we are. We're stuck. So only through walking on this path long enough will we be able to get there. Will we be able to break through the very first 30, 40 pages where we're always stuck. And then once we break through, we have the answers to that. And then we get the answers, and then we figure out how to give it to other people who are also stuck on the first 30 pages. Okay? So next question. Often feeling tired after encountering people matters. I absolutely agree, and I absolutely agree. And do not wish to continue helping. Okay, Master Cheng Yen has such wonderful teaching, yet I could not see in some volunteers. Okay, very similar to the second question we have. Let's break it down into 3 parts. The very first part, often feeling tired after encountering people matters. I think we get that all the time because people matters are difficult. Because people matters isn't so black and white. Because people are involved. And that is actually the most important part in this Tzu Chi school of Buddhism. In this particular teaching, that is the most important. Because when you say encounter, are you only facing them? How do you face them? Do you engage with them? Do you try to think about who they are, why they do certain things? Or are you focused on what they did and what they do? and what they say. If we look into the Four Noble Principles, the Four Noble Truths, the first is the truth of suffering. And I think a lot of times, this truth of suffering actually represents all the emotions that we get, good or bad. You have the suffering, you have touching a hot plate, it's hot, burning, the sensation is painful. Or you're eating ice cream, the sensation of joy, happiness, fulfillment, a lot of memories from childhood comes up, and sweet, right? Or you're peeling an onion, right? It burns the eyes, it cries, all this. Or you're seeing something that is sad, and you begin to cry, and you begin to sob and to feel down. All these emotions, I think that goes categorized into the first noble truth. All life is filled with all these sensations and emotions. And the second noble truth talks about how they come to be. And that's what we need to do. Many of us stopped after realizing our senses and realizing the emotions. You self-respect, you self-inspect. You look into yourself, oh, I'm feeling this. Oh, I'm feeling this. I'm seeing this. I'm hearing this. I'm saying this. I am feeling this. But we don't get into the second noble truth, which is to allow us the temporary peace to think about why this is the case. Why are there people matters? Why is he seeing this way? Why does he say such hurtful things? Why does he do that? Why do I feel this? Why do I feel insulted? Why do I feel anger? We don't get into that part so often, and that's what we need to get into. We are engaging people matter because that's our way of practice. But if we don't learn the way to do this, the more we engage in, the more trapped we're going to feel. And the more trapped we're going to feel, the more we're trying to find ways to help us resolve. And maybe we can resort to other things. But it's not within the school that taught us. What the school taught us is, let's just follow the noble truth, right? You're going to see, let's contemplate. Why does this happen? Why is his life so much different than mine? Why does he react this way and I don't? There must be a reason. Instead of just being mad at him, there must be a reason why he, she are doing this. Okay, so that is the second stage, and we usually don't get there. The more we think about why, the more we're able to associate with other people, because we begin to see something that is similar. Not only that, but we begin to understand why we're different, because we're seeing the why. Oh, he says these words because that's what he grew up, how he grew up. That's how he knew and understood. Okay, that's the first part of this question. Often feeling tired after encountering people matters. That's very true, because we're focusing on the first sensation. We forgot to remember. We forgot to think about the why. The more we're able to contemplate, think on his behalf or on her behalf, we're beginning to realize. The next part is important. So what do we do? Now that you see and feel the sensation, and now you go into the why, what do we do about it? That's the next part. And do not wish to continue in helping. That's a very difficult part. You're almost saying that, I'm feeling tired after doing my homework, and therefore I do not wish to continue eating this bowl of rice. The two things are very far apart. You can't have one leading to the other, even though I can see that. I see the reason. I see that these are the people or these are the matter that are involved in helping others. And because you're so tired in handling this, you do not wish to continue helping others. And let me just be very, very frank. I do that too. Sometimes I make my decisions based on if I like these people or not. I am having my own problems. I have my own problems too. But I also will take a step back. I take a step back, right? What does that mean to help? Sometimes helping doesn't mean that we're just gonna get this thing done. Sometimes when our mind is sort of wavering, sometimes the helping is adjusting myself to fit in this group. Instead of trying to fight and say you're wrong or why do you do this, and instead of doing that, sometimes by adjusting our thinking and perspective, achieving the inner peace and unify, allow us to get to that goal. And that's more important. So it's all about changing perspective. It's all about switching. It's all about changing the way that we see things, changing our view. Can we switch? Can we turn? And along the same way, sharing this idea so that they could also see that, so that we could work a little bit better rather than the rough edges keep on crashing into each other. That will never get things done. Okay. And master's teaching, master's wonderful teaching, you do not see in some volunteers. I'm now sharing this with you. All of master's teaching, they are actually the means, the ways. They're actually not the result. Master's teaching will tell you, yeah, this is what Bodhisattva looks like. But the teaching itself is always about the process. So it's hard to see process in people. You see results, you see a snapshot, you see right now. But what master teaches is the process, is how you go from this to there, but teaches you the process. So thinking, not just see that in volunteer, but do you see them change across the years? Were they like this before 5 years, 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years ago? Probably not. Or if they didn't get master's teaching, would they be where they are right now? Probably not. That's the change. So you are now seeing the result of the teaching, and the teaching itself is the process. That's what's important. So master teaches us to change the perspective and change the view, following this path. But how do we turn our consciousness into wisdom? 转世成智. That's very important. Changing the emotions into knowledge and wisdom, changing the knowledge into wisdom, changing our perceptions. This is hot, this is sour, this is spicy, this is warm, this is sweet, etc. into something that has an unchangeable wisdom. And that is through the Four Noble Truths and making the vows. Okay. Apologize for going over a little bit more, 4 minutes over. And thank you for giving me this opportunity to share my insight into some of these questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Brother Joe. I've been taking notes while you're talking. Thanks again for addressing some very controversial questions, and with such wisdom. I truly benefited from it a lot. The next we have Master Tzu Huang. Master Tzu Huang, okay. So you're up next. Over to you.
Okay. Hi, good morning and auspicious greeting to everybody. Since I'm not often to join our Saturday English Dharma sharing, but I do appreciate Sister Xiaoqing always give me a chance, ask me whether I'm available on the Saturday to give my sharing regarding what I have learned from Master's teaching. And I always think that our brother Joe, actually he always done his wonderful part. There was like as a pure practitioners, and he always share Master's teaching by preaching or teaching or solving doubts. The the problems and give everyone to have a very clear answer regarding what they have asked about the questions. So just like what Masters mentioned on this morning, wisdom is down. She did mention she have a report for the wisdom of Anostrata wisdom, which is the first is the wisdom of Anostrata wisdom, Dharma, which is I think Brother Joe have managed done it, and also the second was the wisdom of Anostrata meaning, which is Brother Joe always able. He understand all the Dharma from Master's teaching and thoroughly comprehending it without obstruction, and he can able to give a lot of example or the methods how we can solve our problem and so on. And the third, he is freely expounding the Dharma with different languages. He can understand the Taiwanese language and Mandarin and of course the English. So he can expounding Master's Dharma to everyone and to all over the world who are online now. And also I think the thought is like he have the wisdom of joyful eloquence, because I think he is able to promote this good teaching and spread the meanings, the good meaning to everyone. And also he led those who have doubt in their spiritual cultivation and always give them a very good way and the method and to follow. So never further ado, and I think just let me to share my sharing today, which is I think is quite similarly to some of the questions we've been asking just now, which is regarding how we okay, this is how we can form good affinities. Actually, as we know, masters always say the good affinities come from good deeds. As we interact with other people, we will see their appearance. Does it make us feel happy? Or when other people see our appearance, do they feel a sense of aversion? And toward the same person, I think some people will have no feeling, but while others will feel a sense of aversion about us. Otherwise, yet others will feel a strong sense of attraction. So ultimately, I think this is due to our karmic affinities. And to be well liked by people, Master say we must create a good karmic affinity. So good affinities come from good deeds. So whether it's in our past or present lifetime, we must believe that because we have done things to benefit these people, so we have treated these people well. If we do this for only a few people, that means we only form good affinities with only a few people. And if many people will feel happy when they see us, it means in the past we create many good affinities and did many good deeds to them. So I think this is very clear about the law of causes and conditions. And I think this is why many people will feel very grateful to us if we have done something good to them in the past. So considering and how do we cultivate blessing? I think let's to think about Master's dimension. Consider the Buddha's 32 months. So how did he attain so many magnificent marks for Buddha itself? I think it's very clear that in the chapter 3, the parable of the burning house, Masters did mention if we do 100 good deeds, we create one blessing, and 100 blessings create one good, the magnificent mark, which is it means like we must accomplish 100 good deeds in order to create one blessing. So masters just want to let us not to I think the number itself is clearly not is clearly an approximation approximation. Actually, the good deeds do not need to be called. Master say, we just do it, do the right thing, and then we just do it. So only when every thought have arises in our minds is wholesome, then we will be considered as a diligent. So if people, for example, if people who are genuinely give of themselves and sincerely do good deeds and benefit others, they will be respected and liked by everyone. So benefiting people is very important. But does it only enough apply to human beings? I think Master say we told us no, we not only trade good to people, but also we should be kind to every kind. So if we selectively be kind to animals, cats or dogs, and they will grow up and will be kind to people too. Here I want to show you a video clip regarding it's quite funny, but I think it's quite meaningful, and I think it take maybe around 2 minutes and to see this movie and just have a look.
一条狗狗能有多暖心？看到奶奶干活累了，它会回家去给奶奶搬来凳子。太阳太大，它还不忘给奶奶拿顶帽子。奶奶腿脚不方便，它还会帮奶奶去摘菜。下雨了，它会给奶奶送伞。天气太热，它会拿扇子给奶奶扇风，还会依偎在奶奶的腿上。这个毛孩子既有孝心又有爱心。路过池塘边，看到一条鱼跳出水面，它会把鱼放回水里面。而且主人自从养了它，就再也没有能吃过鱼了。每次主人想杀鱼，它都会去阻止，就连钓鱼，钓到了它都还要把鱼放回水里去。想要杀鸡也是如此，它会提前把鸡给放跑。网友都说这条狗一定是上天派来阻止你杀生的。它叫豆豆，今年6岁，它的智商非常高，特别聪明，还懂得尊老爱幼。奶奶在看电视，主人一来就跟奶奶抢，豆豆直接就从主人手里把遥控器抢回给奶奶。煮水果吃，豆豆强忍着口水都要让奶奶先吃。主人偷懒睡懒觉，它直接去掀被子。知道吸烟对身体不好，看到主人要抽烟，它直接把烟叼走。它还会督促小主人做作业，看到小主人偷懒玩手机，它会去阻止。网友都说豆豆为了这个家真的是操碎了心，实在是太懂事了。还有的网友说，能拥有豆豆这样懂事的狗狗真是好福气。它的情商和智商如此高，除了不会说话，它什么都。
Okay, there's another. I just want to show you this movie. Actually, the reason is just like if you treat the animals good, and you will get a good result as well. So I mean, if you want to have a very good form of the appearance, just like what the Buddha who have the 32 marks, a very dignified or magnificent mark of the good appearance, and people look at them, you have a pleasing. I think this is all you have to be cultivated, and not only for human, but also for all sentient beings, includes animals. So here, there's another very short movie as well, and this is in forest, and which is a deer who was in a trouble, and he got the person who rescued this deer, and you can see what is the final result after the deer was rescued, and what is the act he had done.
别喊了，应该没有受伤啊。你这叫的我汗都出来了，马上就好啊。好 ，OK。嘿，你跑慢点，别摔死啊。通常母鹿就在附近啊。哎，你们看，它往马路边跑去了。小鹿，好，小梅花鹿找到妈妈了啊！哎，你跑过来干什么？以后跟着妈妈不要乱跑了啊！哎，宝宝不用这样啊。 以后呢，宝宝就乖乖跟着妈妈啊，不要去树林里翻栏杆了，懂吗？好，宝宝乖，给你点赞哦。
So the animals will be so respect to the person who rescued him. And I think this is why masters always say that we must be kind to all kinds, and not just to this kind or that kind, this dog or the cat, but to every animal. So this is how why master always unceasingly and to always to promote especially for volunteers, volunteers who must be vegan, vegan or to take vegetable meals rather than you eat the animal fresh. So I think each day we have at least 3 times opportunities to pick our food and to choose whether we want to live healthier or we just want to live with taste, just to craving for the taste. So the bless, if you want to have a blessing, and we must make 100 deeds to get one blessing. So, but I think, like the words say, the blessed are those who are vegetarian, because it's not easy to become one. So I think at least a day, 3 times, you will have the opportunities to make 3 times of good deeds to cultivate, so that in the future we might get one day to will have the Buddhas such magnificent mark for appearance. Who knows? We don't know. But I think it's better for us to start now. So, and as you know, the today's in history, the date of the World Vegetarian Day is held on the 1st October, which is today. And this is the annual kickoff of the Vegetarian Awareness Month. So the theme, the topic for this year, 2022, for the Vegetarian Day, the World Vegetarian Day, they choose the word is the Awareness Day. So let us have a review regarding, actually the World Vegetarian Day was started in 1977 by the North American Vegetarian Society, and it was endorsed by the International Vegetarian Union in 1978 with the view of encourage the empathy, the light, and the life-enhancing possibilities of vegetarianism. So this is the idea, and it plays an important role in making the move to live a healthier life and bring environmental benefits to society today for us. And the day of this is to raise the global attention to grab the health, humanitarian, and the environmental and the ethical benefits of vegetarianism, and to encourage us to follow a vegetarian lifestyle. This is what the main principles why they will have this World Vegetarian Day start on this 1977, which is over 40 years ago. This is it takes quite a long time for them to promote, but is it enough only for one the whole year? We only take 1 month to promote, or only specified on this day to encourage people to take vegan? I think there's not enough. So actually, if you don't do now to act now to be a vegetarian, so I can't imagine what will be our future or planet will look like, and when we pass down to our next generation, we don't know. So actually, we must believe that the eating vegetarian food doesn't mean that you have to eat a boring food. Just explore the other sides of the fence and to know how delicious the vegetarian food can be. just like I show you this photo here. Actually, you can see it's so wonderful. The picture of the fruit itself is so colorful and is so amazing and too attractive. I think it will stimulate our appetite, and one choose to be a vegetarian. It's so juicy, and I think look at this photo. That's I don't know what you think, but for me, I think like it's just very juicy and very yummy. So I think the idea, if we don't take action, I think it's just only the idea. So very proudly to say that our starting the 20-day challenges, healthier me. I think start. Of course, we know the founder is in the beginning is in United States, but I think it start to be garner and to be promote widespread. You start in our Tzu Chi in Malaysia, and as we know, for this month, coming October of 1013, which is we in Chinese is like we hope everyone can do one good deed at least. At least one person do one good deed. For one day, you can have 3 times the good deed. So one person to multiply to 3 times, and I think is quite worth. And this is the benefit is not just for ourselves, but also for our environmental. And you can know that we are what we eat. And this is very familiar words I always heard from people say. So it is the core to this program is the main is very maintain our healthy diet through the whole plant-based diet, and which is has been garnered the participant from all over the countries, at least 6 countries, as I know, and now is showing visible result for our blood tests. And I think the variety in the vegetarian fruit is very amazing, and this will never be compared to those who only love to eat the fresh or the fiber of like the bread or noodles only. So we can be you can be a part of creating a better world by promoting the days as a vegetarian diet effort, and so that we can only not for ourselves, but also we can save millions of lives of animals. And the main important is like to protect our planet. So it is like as I mentioned just now, the variety of choices for the vegetarian food is so amazing, and it's like we can never be compared only to those who love to eat the meat of the animals. So, and I want to show you, if you want to attend the manifestation of the Buddha's mark, no need to wait too long. For example, for this participant, he showed a significant improvement in his physical appearance. I think before he joined and after 21 days he joined, and the result you can see, he totally changed his very obvious the physical appearance from his face and his body, the belly, big belly, and become, I think, slim and flat. And I think this is what stopped people from being healthier. And for this participant, I think this is all start from his own food habit, because he chose to believe. So as we know, for the participants who are over 1,000 people who already joined this program, and through the blood test reports show a significant improvement in the blood pressure or the blood sugar or the cholesterol reading. And the message is very clear. And if we change our diet, and we will change our health as well. So not only was his physical appearance look pleasing and make people feel happy to see the difference. And I think that everywhere he spoke, and he become a model, a role model, the big change of himself before and after to join this healthier food program, the challenges, and also the way or the words that he's brought to share to everyone. I think can make people feel confidence. I think this is also considered he planned a good deed to people as well. So he is doing a good deed, not only himself, but he also influenced other people. And the wondrous appearance of him can help people to develop a very deep faith by eating green. I think this is a very wonderful example. And also, it must say, we constantly say that each person is like a sutra to us. So this is one of the example to give us not the idea, but it's really practically can be happen in our life. So like Master say, for our own spiritual cultivation, it depends on whether our capabilities are dull or sharp. So if we are sharp capabilities, and we can awaken quickly upon encountering the Dharma, just like this participant. He have a very sharp capabilities because after he heard about this challenging 21 healthier program, and he started to join and he take action. But if those who have dull capabilities, just like I listened, I heard, and I saw the result, but I do not believe, and I don't want to take any action. It means like we only can receive a very less what we call is like the result. Yeah, so it depends on whether in the past we have formed any good roots of goodness by listening to the good Dharma, and we take practice quickly, or we are just become less for practicing. So I think he chose to make a try, and as a result, he which is out of his expectation to be very good. This is like he lost weight and he gained the healthy, the very I think he have a lot of example can show us that just like if we believe that everyone have a Buddha nature, so it's just like whether we are attend the realization in different times. So whether you want to listen and quickly to bring action, or you choose to wait and not to follow this wonderful path and to make a change of your diet. It all depends, and definitely you will have a different result on your blood test report and for a healthier condition. So I think it's very clear that the advantages are not only for ourselves, and also I think for our future. Master will say that I believe those who adopt a vegetarian for a few years, I think at least you have already formed good affinities with those animals, because you don't eat them and you don't make a bad relationship with them. So because by eating a vegetarian meals, I think this is a well settled for ourselves, and know that our food habit, I think, is getting our food habit isn't to getting someone will be killed. So this is like we have a good relationship with the animal. So does we want to choose our stomach look like a graveyard? I think no. Master always say, actually our stomach doesn't look like a graveyard if you choose to be a vegetarian or veganism. I think this is like how we can have 3 times a day to choose whether how good this you want to do from our mouth, I think at least. So this day is the yearly kickoff of Vegetarian Awareness Month. So if we want to make a difference, and we should share our thoughts and our program with others, which is who are also willing to focusing on the benefits of following become a vegetarian and the lifestyle. So we also can be a part of creating a better world by promoting the days as a vegetarian diet for our family and to have a better health benefits and to save lives of animals, as I always mention, and also for climate. So the last but not last, I would want to show you this very wonderful word from the Linda McCartney, which is saying, if slaughterhouse had glass, well, the whole world would be vegetarian. And here the video clip will tell you this is what exactly the witness of this women in his what happened in his own experience.
Because if you live here and saw the way they do, you wouldn't eat no pork. Well, I don't eat bacon because I know where it comes from. When they die, they go into a box and they decompose because they swell from stretching heat. A truck come and pick them up, take them to the processing plant in Rose Hill, round them up into feed, and feed it back to the hogs. If I come out this door, if he's spraying there, it's gonna come in my face. It hit you right in the face. Smell like something that you have never smelled before. It smells worse than a dead body.
And so the last but not least, and the last slide for my sharing is like someone of the best thing about being a vegetarian include, of course, the contributing towards the welfare of animals. And being a vegetarian can also make us become a healthy person. It helps us the environment as well. So all of those things will make us to become a vegetarianism the worthwhile. So this is really a win-win situation. And of course, this is all about making choices, whether we want to be vegan or not vegan, whether we want to be healthy or unhealthy. So be wise to make our own choice. So this is my sharing, and thank you for listening and giving me a chance to share. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Master Te Huang. The video of the dog and the deer was really very fun to see and so enlightening. Thank you so much for sharing that. We have something special today because a lot of them are at the Jingsu Hall for volunteering this morning. So everybody turn on your camera so that we can take a group photo and commemorate today. Can everyone turn on your camera? Okay, I'm going to take a group photo now. Print screen. Okay, another round. Print screen. Thank you everyone for this morning, and Brother Joe and also Master Te Huang.
感恩我的就感恩马斯王师傅，感谢这感恩台湾，感恩。
Before we leave, let us just rise and pay respects. Please rise, palms together. First bow, second bow, and third bow. And a bow to Master Te Huang who could join us today. Thank you so much. Kan Eun. Have a great weekend, everyone. Thank you. Bye.